Welcome back into the Sporting News Studios. Tom Vandervoort with staff writer Matt Crossman, and we're here to talk about, I'm going to try to pronounce this correctly, Gorgui Dieng.
Yeah, you got it right.
He's from Senegal, plays for Louisville, a big man in the middle. But, I just got done reading your story, and the first word that occurred to me for him was heart. He seems to have what you call a big heart.
Oh, yeah, without question. And he wears it on his sleeve, too. He's such an interesting character to interview because he doesn't have... He's not American. And so the topics that he'll talk about and the way that he'll talk about them, it's not like every other college kid. It's completely different. There was one really striking part of the interview where he was talking about his dad had been sick in the summer and how he was heartbroken about not being there because his dad's back in Senegal, and his dad, like most young men, his dad is the most important person in his life, and for him, I would say even more so than most. And he read this text message that he had sent to his friend, sort of pouring out his heart. And I remember thinking, I don't really have friends that I send messages like that to. And not only does he have those messages, he is so comfortable sharing it that he's telling me, a reporter who he had known for 10 minutes.
So he's out there.
He's an interesting cat. He's as interesting as a dude as I've ever talked to.
Well, the other part of your article that was really striking was the whole combination of Rick Pitino and Dieng.
Yeah, they are.
Just talk about that a little bit for me.
Yeah, you talk to people about Gorgui, and a lot of times when you talk to people about their friends, they are glowing about them, but it's different with him because he's just so out there. And Pitino told this great story about the first week Dieng was on campus at Louisville, and Pitino was driving by and he saw him. He got out of the car, said, "Hey, Gorgui, how you doing?" Whatever, and Gorgui said, "I'm doing fine, coach, but I can't talk. I don't ever want to be late for class. I got to go." Pitino got back in the car. He's like,
nobody does that to me.
What just happened? And he literally said, "Can you imagine an American kid doing that?" And I said, "No, coach, I can't imagine an American kid doing that." So.
Now, on the court, it seemed like that kind of easygoing style was something that maybe played against him a little bit at first.
It did. And Pitino talks about that too, that when he got to Louisville, they sort of had to teach him to be aggressive. And I think he's learned that completely, but to his credit, he's never going to be that guy who is hyper-competitive, that just wears every loss. That's just not the way he is.
So for him, it's more the joy of playing and getting that.
Having fun, being out there. I knew what the answer was going to be before I asked him, but I sort of asked him, what about, playing against Kentucky, being here in Louisville? And he's like, I play basketball to make friends, not enemies. And I thought that's just the
Kentucky and Louisville fans don't root for that purpose.
But on the other hand, why would a kid from Senegal give two rips about the rivalry? And so he's really just as fun and interesting a guy as I've ever talked to.
Now, from a basketball point of view, is this the defensive presence? Is that the main thing he's bringing?
Yeah, that's the main thing he's bringing. But Pitino said, don't sleep on him on offense too, because he's pretty athletic. He's not just a defensive force, but he's definitely that. I think you'll see him score more this year. But I asked him, what would you rather do, dunk to win a game or block a shot to prevent the other team from scoring to win the game? And he didn't bat an eye. He said, block the shot. I'm not getting to the NBA by dunking. And I thought, that's a dude who's thought about it. I've asked that question of other players, and most times they say, doesn't matter, whatever it takes to win. But he said, no. Block the shot, because that's who I am. That's who I am. That's what's going to take me.
Very interesting. A guy definitely sounds like a guy worth rooting for.
Yeah, I haven't ever written a story before where I've talked to a guy about Huck Finn, but it was really interesting that one of his teachers in high school in West Virginia said that he really liked Huck Finn because he related so much to the character Jim because of what the character Jim was willing to go through to get back to his family. And that's exactly what it's very analogous of what he's doing here. And then his favorite movie was Taken, which for the same reason that Liam Neeson going out to save his family. But let's not get carried away that he's all highfalutin, because the American movie he thinks is the funniest was 21 Jump Street. And if you haven't tried to explain to like a 22-year-old Senegalese kid that the movie 21 Jump Street is based on an actual serious television show from before he was born. I tried doing that when we were walking around campus. I just gave up. Never mind. If you think it's funny, that's fine.
All right, that's Matt Crossman. I'm Tom Vandervoort. Gorgui Dieng of Louisville, a man worth watching this season.